Just
It's exercising my forehead.
like I forgot I had to block someone from seeing my posts on Facebook today. I just saw that as I posted this to Facebook. Ronald, we tweeted a tweet you were mentioning.
Uh-huh.
I don't know who Ronald is, but that's cool.
DJ Regular. He's
Oh,
he's pretty chill.
all right.
Pretty chill.
Okay, let's see if this is
Oh, you
actually
retweeted
working.
my tweet.
I retweeted all the tweets, and I also tweeted out, and now I'm going in here and I'll post the stream thing and everything.
Okay,
I'll
cool. And
just
then I'll
post it
retweet your
everywhere.
tweet.
Yeah, just retweet the tweet of the tweet. Just tweetception.
Hashtag book club. Hashtag Twitch book club. Hashtag book club. Hashtag Handmaid's Tale.
I didn't know, like, I didn't really know what to do. I
Okay.
tried my best, okay? I was like, I feel like I should. I always do, like, a hashtag Twitch book club now, because that's kind of like, no one else was using that. Oh, so I was going to put us in the communities that was book clubs, because there's now, like, a community for book clubs, but there were 0 viewers and 0 people doing any book clubs, and I was like, well, then fuck that.
Well, then we can be the people. Shaz, what's up, man?
Hey, Shaz. I don't even see Shaz. Where?
Oh, he's in. Yeah, no, he's in your channel.
Oh, did he say hi? It's not showing up on my thing.
609, Shaziki, what up? What
That's
up?
weird. Why is it not?
Did you
Oh,
take me
there we
out of-
go. Okay, so.
Did you take me out of aspect ratio again this month?
No.
Oh, okay.
Do you look weird?
No, I'm good.
If
I
you
look
don't
beautiful
feel
always.
comfortable, I will change it for you.
I
In just a
always
chat.
look
Yeah, okay, I see you now.
beautiful.
Twitch was being an asshole.
Da, da, da,
Twitch was
da.
being a douchebag. I'm sorry. Like, he was.
Easy.
It was like I basically had to exit out of Twitch chat and then re-enter Twitch chat, and then it was like, "Oh, Shaziki, what up?" And I was like, "Okay, hey Shaz, how are you?"
Get over here!
Tippy, thank you for the host. Fancy meeting you here. I feel like we could we make these openings more awkward? Is there a way? Is there possibly a way? So we
I don't think this is awkward. I think this is amazing, and I'm disappointed in you for not thinking that this is amazing.
I don't have the team spirit. I'm sorry.
Smells like team spirit.
Alright, so welcome to the book club. We read Handmaid's Tale. Oh, Moody Lunchbox! Hi, how are you? Welcome.
Just in time for that.
It's nice to actually meet you in person, or you can hear me. Welcome to our book club. So we read Handmaid's Tale. If you haven't read the book, there will be spoilers ahead, but basically it's about Offred. She's in a dystopian future where things are awful. They're terrible. She's basically a slave. Oh, thank you so much for the biddy, Moldy Lunchbox. Indeed. I love it when new friends pay me biddies. But yeah, hashtag friendship. We've become new friends, so everyone should say hi to Moldy Lunchbox because he's a cool dude. I met him in another Bluebirds Fly
Moldy
channel.
Lunchbox.
This is my lovely
Welcome.
friend Tippy22. She's also a streamer and she's amazing, so you should go follow her. Not to like make you run around everywhere, but you should run around everywhere. You should see all the people. So it's basically about Offred. Offred is a handmaid in the Republic of Gilead? Is it Gilead? Gilead, that's what I was thinking. She may leave the home of the commander and his wife once a day to walk to food markets whose signs are now pictures instead of words because women are no longer allowed to read. So we're screwed. That Dreamcast, oh dude, I love Dreamcast. Thank you for the 10 biddies. Moldy Lunchbox. Dreamcast is the shit, yo. I love, Shinmu, anybody?
I've never actually played Dreamcast before.
Yo. If I come to Seattle, I'll try to bring it. Hey, I'm still Johnny. And yes, follow all the peeps.
Hey, Johnny. Zagrave, hey!
So, it's a grave, hi! She must lie on her back once a month and pray that the commander makes her pregnant. That's an awkward time to come in, guys, but we're reading the back of the book. Because in an age of declining births, Offred and the other handmaids are valued only if their ovaries are viable. I mean, that's just regular. That's just dating in general. Offred can remember the years before when she lived and made love with her husband Luke, when she played with and protected her daughter, when she had a job, money of her own, and access to knowledge. But all of that is gone now. So it's not a fun book. Like, it's not a happy-go-lucky one. That's for damn
But it's an
sure.
interesting book.
It's
and it's well
amazingly
written.
interesting. I really enjoyed this. This is my favorite book that we've read.
Yeah, me too.
Dude, I loved House of the
I
Dead as well.
agree with that.
House of the Dead was amazing. Hi, Grim Day. Yes, exclamation point plot not only gives you a summary, there's also themes. If you didn't read the book, you can cheat. Like, you can cheat like there's a test on it. So I've got my notes on my phone.
Because there will be a test. I did not take
Yes.
notes because I read it in like 2 days and I was like, this is amazing. I can't wait to talk about it.
I read it in like a week, I think a week and a half. I know, I just like, and that was just because I didn't have a lot of time. I plowed through it.
I'm not gonna lie. I
Oh, is it
finished
Grave
The Handmaid's
okay?
Tale before we talked about the last book.
Yes. Yeah, like I bought Handmaid's Tale and I was like, oh hey, I bought Handmaid's Tale. Like I'm gonna start reading it. And you were like, I'm done. Like I was just like,
It was
okay.
so good.
A world book where women can't read is just his favorite. Ironic, indeed.
Dude. So I don't know if we should do like a complete summary of it because I really think people should go in and read it.
Yes. Like I'm
Honestly.
not gonna go into every single detail because I feel like it has to be experienced. Is this just a half VF show now since you skipped the boys?
That
It's
half vaginal fantasy. How dare you, Law Soft? We are equally, definitely not on par with vaginal fantasy.
like we are Felicia Day, goddammit. It's like Groot. It's like we are Felicia Day. Combined. We like it's like, oh my god, we could be like could we be like Power Rangers? Where we like get together and then we become like Felicia Day by combining. No, Wonder Twins. Wonder
Is
Twins
that
powers
Power
activate?
Rangers? I don't think that's Power Rangers.
Something. One of the shows where they get together, like, and they click and then they become a bigger thing. Didn't Power Rangers like get together and they become a bigger
Captain
thing?
Planet by the power of
Yes, Captain Planet. Is that Leatherface? It is. It's a French movie poster for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre because I'm that kind of a nerd. So, first off, what did you like about the book? There's so much. There's so much I liked about it. There are a few things I disliked, but they were minor.
I liked the world building of the book. Probably one of the most like subtle and like just like took the whole story to really get the full picture of the world that they were living in. And I like how it kind of unfolded in a way that you were like, oh, like you kind of got little like inklings of how they ended up like this. I I like that they didn't necessarily, it wasn't like at the beginning there was like in the year 2137 this happened, you know what I mean? So they
Yeah.
kind of built up to how women ended up being basically second class citizens on both on paper and in actual society. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. It was one of those things. I like the fact that it started off and it's just her describing her life, and through that you learn what happened to everyone. So like she's just describing like the fact that there is no glass anywhere around her because they're basically worried that women will end up killing themselves. Hey David, can't wait for the binge watching. Oh yes. So for those who don't know, after we're finished with this, we'll probably go till like 10 p.m. and then we're gonna hop into Rabbit and we're gonna watch the TV show together. If you would like, you are more than welcome to join us. Like whoever wants to come over.
I don't know how
gonna
many
be a
people can
blast.
go in a rabbit.
I think you can have up to 10. At
Okay.
least.
Well then, first come first serve, guys.
I mean, I think there might be more. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see what happens
We'll
when
see.
we do it.
Everyone who wants to come can come, and then we'll just see what happens. Because it's the first try for everything. Excellent example of how rights can go to any side. Exactly. And I liked. So here's the thing about it too that I enjoyed. I liked the fact that it's told from the perspective of Offgrid, which I also like the fact that that all of the names of the women are possessive, so it's like of Glenn. Basically, their name is basically the property of the whoever person
Oh
they're
yeah,
with.
I did not figure that out until I met another woman. I was like,
Oh,
I
really?
get it.
I
get
figured it
Yeah,
out within
yeah,
the first
yeah.
few pages.
I was like,
and then
what
I
are?
was like,
Yeah, I was like, what are
yes.
these fucking stupid names? Like what?
I was just so. Oh, more like 20 plus the last time I was there. Okay, Law's a very social person on Rabbit, so he knows. I only like watch shit with like 2 to 3 people. I would, but I'm waiting on Foxy to go play VR, so that's what oh, okay, that's cool. Well, I'll try to have you open while we do stuff. I'll probably be lurking. I'm glad you're feeling better, by the way, Tippy.
Thank you.
But yeah, like I really enjoyed. That's one of the things about the world building I liked the most was the fact that you had little subtle things like that. You also had stuff that harkened back to the Scarlet Letter a lot, like that Puritanism, kind of like
Mm-hmm.
branding women with like red and stuff. That was a big deal. Mostly I liked the complexity of emotions though. Like I just really like the duality of things where not only is Offred kind of trapped in her own cage, but you also have the commanders who are also kind of trapped in their own cage. They're just more they enjoy it more because they have more freedoms. But nobody's happy.
I know. And you know what? It still made me like it was so interesting to me when we got to the part where we really kind of started to unpack the commander's feelings on what's happened and how women and he was just kind of like, yeah, we're protecting you. Duh. Like
Yeah.
what do you mean? You're protected now. And she was like, I didn't feel unprotected before this. It was
Yeah.
you who see, but the thing is, I thought it was really interesting is that this whole thing happened because these men felt that their place in society was being threatened by women gaining more independence and power, and they were just like, well, of course we're going to take it away. Like,
Yeah, like
what
no.
else would we do?
Like
Like,
fuck
instead
that
of just
shit.
instead of just maturing and becoming more intricate people and accepting that women are also people, let's just turn them into not people. That's the best way to handle this.
And like it's one of those things on like face value. Like when you're reading it, it does kind of feel like a real like heavy feminist novel, but it's not really. Like there's you get different perspectives and it's a really interesting like thank you, David. It's a really interesting kind of like interplay of things. I liked there like just I love the bits where she sits with the commander. I love the bits where she sits there and they talk about things and like you said, like he feels like he protected her, but then you also have people like Nick who are on the side of the rebellion because there is a rebellion going on as
But
well.
was he? But was he? See, that's the
I
other
think he
thing.
is. I feel
Yeah,
like
I
he
don't know.
is.
We don't know.
Are you
Like,
sure? I mean, he
I don't
basically gets
know.
her out. Did
Does
you?
he?
Yeah. Well, did you not read the end? Did you not read
I
the
read the end. I read that it was like in another. I don't know. I'm still I don't know.
because like the
I
historical
was
notes.
disappointed in the ending. I was disappointed in
Really?
the ending. I was like, I want you to I don't want to try and piece together what might have happened. Spoon feed it to me, please, and tell me what happened to this lady and where she went.
Hey, chaos. It also opens to see what a human requires for health. Exactly, like it's one of those things where these women are just basically surviving, and like she's even talking about like basically sitting back and thinking of England, that kind of thing, where you're just having to do what you have to do to get by. And there are many cases where women do encroach on rights of some men somewhere, but the book situation isn't necessary. Exactly, it's one of those things. And like there are some points in the book that I agree with. Like she's talking to the commander, and he talks about how like basically the women don't see what was it women can't add one and one and one isn't four, it's just the numbers. And I was like, okay, and the context that he's saying it in is I think really erroneous, but I think sometimes I know personally I do tend to pick out the smaller details of things. I don't see the larger picture. And he's talking about, oh, in the larger picture you're protected and everything's great, and I'm like, no, they're not. But I'm like, okay, there's some interesting points that are made, but you can see where like his logic is flawed. You know what I'm saying? Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Eh.
I mean, it generally, like, I don't know. I just felt like the whole thing. Okay, what also interests me is that this was written in 1986, and I'm like, I can see all of these things happening right now.
Right? Not to
I
say
did
it, but
not
that shit
realize,
comes
okay,
right.
I did not realize that this was a dystopian future novel before I started reading it.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Oh. Yeah,
Like,
I
I did
knew
not
going in.
realize, because if you read it, I like kind of I didn't really necessarily I feel like I skimmed this like the summary on the back and then I was like, "Oh, okay." So I kind of went into this with the
I
like
think that
this
would
is
actually be better.
yeah, yeah. That I was like, "Oh, this was actually the United States. This was actually
This is what's happening right now, basically.
this is what's happening."
I look good
Kind of
in
like
red,
all
though. It's okay. We'll just deal with it.
hell no.
No, like, fuck that. Fuck that. I was joking.
I
Please
was
stop.
it like it like scared me, not scared me, but like I could see this happening though. Like it's not even something that is outside of the realm of possibility for what could happen here and how it just kind of like is one of those like sinister subtle things that they just slowly start taking away and then you're suddenly like, "Wait a second. What the fuck is happening here?" And it's already done.
Yeah, and there's
There's,
nothing. It's just one day you wake up and you don't have a bank account anymore. That's it. Like,
you know,
that's kind of
you don't,
terrifying to think
you
about.
don't have a job. And then suddenly, and then I liked the parts where she talked about how anything can become normal the longer you do it.
Yeah, which
That's
is very
like,
true.
I'm so surprised at how normal this is to me because she started to referring things as normal, even though she was kind of um, like this is so not normal for
Yeah.
someone who remembers life prior to Gilead being the country, you know?
And then like you've got these newer generations of children being inducted into the society, and that's
Don't.
gonna be their normal.
Yeah.
What? Oh, holy shit! I missed so much chat. They leave you wanting more. That's the thing, Grim Day. Actually, I want to talk about the ending again because I was satisfied by the ending. The Handmaid's Tale is a story of Indiana. There's not enough corn, NASCAR, and camo pants for that. Hey, Nishiki, erroneous is not a big word. No. 1986 was post Reagan at the time of peak moral majority. Oh, yeah, actually, that probably played into it. It's only if you neglect the even larger picture of the intricacies of human needs on a whole can they have decided. Oh, yeah. Exactly, because they do kind of just get rid of human rights considerably.
For almost everyone though, I think. Like not even it wasn't even like men had more rights than women. It just felt like everyone other than the very top echelon of people,
Yeah.
they were just like, "Sorry guys."
Yeah, which it's never like completely explained how the commanders get into their position, but it's kind of like it's assumed that they're pretty high level. Like people,
hmm
and you get the lower level people end up either becoming, they have like prostitutes or they have handmaids, and then you have Marthas, which I never really understood. Like, are Marthas just cooks and like
I kind of
servants?
thought that they were servants, but I also kind of thought they might be women who are um, they're not dissenters, but they're not um, like viable in terms of having children. You know what I mean? That they might just kind of fall into kind of like a subset where, okay, we can use it. They might be older women, maybe they went through menopause, or maybe they just aren't able to have children for
Yeah,
whatever reason. They're not high enough in society to be a wife of a commander or someone, or maybe not even as high as like being the wife of kind of a lower level, those striped women. You know what I mean? They might be too old for that, but they kind of are the service class. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I don't know
Because
how they determine
I
who's
was
a Martha.
I was
You
confused because you have people who aren't of, I thought, of childbearing age or of like are barren, and they become unwomen, like they have to go to that colony.
hmm
So it's like, how
hmm
what defines that? Like,
But they did say so. But they did say that women who like handmaids who provide a child are not going to ever become unwomen. So maybe they're the ones who become Marthas.
oh, that would be kind of interesting. Where basically like you become a Martha after a specific amount of time. Like, okay, you've born a child, like birthed
You've
a
born a
child,
child,
like that. Now you're
and
good.
then
Now
you
you
can become
can.
Martha.
Did Shitogen read this one? No, he did not.
Nope.
And he's probably going to be rotated in, but I don't think he doesn't want to do book club. So, so it's just us. It's the Tippy
It's
Jess
just us.
hour.
And you know you love it.
You know you love it. You want more. You're too lazy to
hmm
Google what the David even knows. David, good job. I'm proud of you. Their stewards are just littles. Oh. Honestly, if women or men were proven to be unnecessary for the government to function within a certain light, it's very possible they'd simply restrict us for everything. Exactly. Like that's what
Yeah.
makes this book so interesting to me and so terrifying is because it is a dystopian future novel that's grounded in too much truth in a way. Like you can actually really sink your teeth into it and see this actually happening. If you think about it, the government is still doing it slowly, like new free. Oh yeah, right. The new laws about
Okay.
like
Okay, wait. Those haven't been pushed through. They're just pretty much ignoring the.
They're just kind of saying it, but
All
they're
right,
not.
hold on. Can we just stop for a second because I really
Pause.
want to let's pause for a second and have a serious meta discussion outside of this is how political do you want our discussion to get? Because we are treading on dangerous ground where we could start to bring in like things that are happening now, but that is a very, very slippery slope
I
to
worry.
go
I
down.
fear.
Like just for us and chat, I'm asking you, since this is your channel, how I want to
Like,
kind of lay some ground rules.
if
I feel
you,
like we should have probably talked about this before we went
yeah, we
live.
should have.
Um,
But like, that's not us. That's not our style. Like, let's just freeball it. Let's just go. If you
right,
like,
yeah,
if you feel like you,
well,
I think it's
see,
hard not to. Like, okay, let's be real. Let's have a real talk moment, chat. So there's this orange potato that's president.
see, there you go.
And
At the
it's
risk of offending people,
at the risk
which
of
I'm
offending
sure
people.
as much as we want, like as much as I want, I'm just always so hesitant to talk about politics with people that
Yeah.
I love and care about.
And that's like
And
our number
and
one rule on Twitch is like, don't talk politics because
right.
it breaks the family apart. But
So
this book is one of
this
those weird books
it's not a weird book, but it
that
is a book where
it's a
there's a
great
big
book.
correlation between what is happening in our lives right now and what happened in this book to bring about the situation that Offred is dealing with.
That is true, Johnny. I'm sorry. I should not insult potatoes like that. Potatoes are delicious and wonderful, and they bring so much to the world. And I am sorry to potatoes. I'd like to issue a formal apology. Don't you mean Cheeto? I also like Cheetos. I feel like nothing. You don't like fighting? You don't stop. Oh my god. Who voted for. Oh my god. This...
Because, I mean, you could talk about how the news is not talking about the internet, the lack of, the net neutrality laws that are once again going to be put in jeopardy
Yeah.
by switching over internet classification from Title II to Title I, I think, or the other way around, in terms of the ability of internet service providers to provide free and equal internet to all parties. And despite the fact that there has been a considerable amount of comments protesting that they're still continuing to push forward those new rules so that, businesses won't suffer. Because then you could talk about how corporations are considered people by our government and often get better and bigger and more benefit of the doubt than the general
Yeah.
person
And
does at this point anyway.
then it's one of those things. Then you get into a society run by corporations, which
Hmm.
is very bad. Like, unless
Um,
I just, oh
and
god,
then, because then we could talk about, because that doesn't even bring in the religious aspect of us versus them mentality that's being pushed by the current administration as well.
yeah,
Not even just the current administration, the current politicians in power. And that's really true not just of our current administration, just in general over the course using the media and other things. Um, but I don't know. I could talk for a long time about this, and I don't know how comfortable I am speaking about it on a public forum.
yeah. It's one of those things. Like, I have very, like, I guess anti-administration views right now, so I worry. I always worry because I'm the same way. Like, it's one of those things. I feel like they are enforcing too much control and control in the wrong areas. And like, we have now a thing where it's like, oh hey, like even Stephen Colbert being investigated by the FCC for a joke he made.
Or the
Like,
woman who is now going to jail, potentially facing jail time for laughing um, in the middle of a hearing.
exactly. It's just there's a lot of stuff that's going on that is terrifying, and this book goes, hey, can you not sleep at night? Well, let's keep that going. Like,
Let's show you what could happen if it continues on.
do you want to start wearing a white hood?
Or,
Just try it. Like, see if you look good in
or
red. Like, it's
yeah, there are a lot of potential, I would think, counter pegs that are happening powder kegs that are happening right now in our country that are, slowly but surely, in my opinion, I don't know if you share this opinion, taking away the rights of the basic general American public.
Yeah.
Um,
And Nishiki has a
you know,
good point. Like, it shouldn't be an issue of speaking about it on a public forum. As long as you're fine with other people expressing their own opinions, even if it goes against you. That I understand. As long as it's, like, civil discourse, that's the thing. The problem with politics is it becomes
an
increasingly
angry
civil. Like,
discourse.
generally,
Yeah.
like, it's one of those things where it becomes just a shouting match
When I
real quick.
hear the word snowflake,
Snow. Unless it's in Fight Club. No, unacceptable.
so as long as we can keep our discourse civil,
Yeah.
I think I would be willing to continue along the vein of talking about our current events in
And it
addition to
seems that
what.
way at the moment. Like, it seems like everyone's cool. Because, like, Johnny, like, you're right. If you're not talking about politics, you're ignoring it. And that's how problems continue. Like, if you ignore the problem gets worse. It's like, oh,
Mhm.
I've got this weird mole. And then it's, just wait. And then it's like,
Just
it's
leave
cancer.
it.
Like, you should
Wow,
have
that mole's
waited.
getting bigger, but let's just see what happens.
Like, now it's got a big hair in it. It'll be fine. If you start to
Oh, yeah.
threaten to kill someone for that, that's the thing. Or like when you're trying to explain things to people and they get upset, it's just Facebook. That's all I have to say.
Oh my God. It's funny though. I do have to say, coming from Jersey, where I come from, which tends to can kind of vacillate between being Republican and Democrat. I have actually kind of like almost a 50-50 split of very conservative people who I'm friends with on Facebook and what I would consider very liberal people. Now, I don't talk a lot about my political views on Facebook or with the people that I um, love, just in terms of in an effort to keep my life with them civil.
Yeah.
Because I do find that once those kind of views come out, people get overly defensive about people who have alternative views to you. And not that I'm not for having a civil discussion, but it is hard to, when you feel like your rights are being violated, it's hard to maintain a calm demeanor, is the best way I could put
Or
it.
when you feel like the rights of other people are being infringed upon.
Well,
And
that's the
like,
thing. I feel like that's a very um, big difference between the people that I've talked to, because a lot of the people on the what I would consider the conservative side of things are more concerned about when my rights are being violated, and a lot of the liberal view people I feel like are concerned about their rights are being violated. If that makes sense. I don't
yeah,
know if you
no,
have
it does.
experience
And I think
with me.
that's kind of interesting, like with this book particularly. I feel like sometimes the commanders are kind of a good example of like when you're talking to someone who has that kind of closed-minded perspective, like Grimday is saying, where it's just like it's pointless because they've got their opinion and they're set in it. Alfred
Right.
is kind of like she sees his opinion, but she thinks it's wrong. I just feel like some of these things, like you're the commanders and the handmaids, they're never gonna see eye to eye. That's just the way things are. That's just
Well,
politics.
I think that the problem is with that, not that, but just in general, is that it's kind of like having opposing political views. The commanders and the people who put these new rules in place were like, our rights were being violated. We no longer had a place in the home. What did he, I don't even remember what page. I almost want to, I'm gonna skim through and trying to find where he said it. He said basically what my gist of it was kind of like what I see as a lot of arguments when you look on Facebook for conservative. My rights were no longer being violated. I no longer had a place in the home. Women
Yeah.
were out working, so we decided we needed to, do something about it. So we put in these new rules, and now everyone's protected, and we kind of made everyone kind of scared of an outside threat that wasn't necessarily as big of a threat as we indicated it was, but they were more willing to give up their personal rights because they were like, oh, please, please protect us.
Yeah.
But Offred, as a member of the people whose rights they took away, was more like, look at all of these women, look at this group that I'm a part of, everyone's rights are now being violated, look at how everyone is being treated. And his response to that was so interesting to me when he said, it can't be great for everybody or something
Exactly.
along those lines.
It is. It's
Better
basically
doesn't
like,
mean, I think it was like better doesn't mean better for everybody.
yeah. And so
It can
like
only,
it's there's it's a great book. Like read the book because it's great about like class systems, really opens your eyes to like other perspectives. If everyone understood how subjective everything was, it would be like I'm like I wish there was a way that you could have like just a discussion with people, particularly on Facebook, where you could just have like a cool down button and just actually have like a discourse about everything, but it just isn't. That's a future I doubt we will be seeing. But it's one of those things where I don't know. The book is just really good. Like I don't have like there
yeah,
were
I would
things that
drop
I
my, yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
oh wait, you go ahead. No, you go ahead. You
No.
started
I was
first.
just gonna agree with Grimday here. Is that I drop my opinion in Flash if there's a better one out. It's not even about dropping my opinion. I am just open to someone making an argument to me and being like, "Listen, like this is how I see things," and I'm willing to like kind of more mutate my opinions based on information that's provided to me, as opposed to just being like, "No, you're wrong." I've heard people be like, "It's my opinion. You can't tell me it's wrong." It's like, yes, I can. Like,
Yeah, because
totally, it's an
opinions,
opinion. Doesn't mean fact.
yeah,
You know,
are
people are
feelings.
conflating the two things. They're saying like, well, it's my opinion. You can't tell me how to have an opinion. It's like, no, but I can show you these things that I feel invalidate your opinion.
Exactly. Like that's my problem too. It's a tangent, but I feel like a lot of people are confusing like human rights with their feelings. Like, oh, I feel this, so therefore it should be my right to have that. And it's like that's a difference in and of itself, which then is also causing problems when people are trying to fight for human rights because it's like, well, no, you're just wanting to not be offended. So like we've got a whole series of problems that are happening currently in our society, and it's like, but if you have an opinion and then you can show me like with facts and research like, yo, this isn't actually what it is, like, and then I'll be like, oh, okay, cool, and I'll drop my point. It just means better for everyone. The society currently holds as more important. True. And then that's kind of what goes back to class systems and stuff, which I think is a fascinating subject. And that kind of like, then you get that kind of hive mentality. It's almost like with this book, it's cultish behavior, which I love cults.
Hmm.
So,
I
but
find those so
right,
interesting. Oh my
cults are the
God.
best, dude. That's what I want you to read. The Girls. So the Girls.
Okay.
Side note is about a woman who enters a cult, and it's great.
Oh, I will definitely read that. I always find that so intriguing about people who kind of get okay, secretly. Okay, so you know how in Making a Murder, other side
Dude,
note,
I just finished
not
watching Making a
not Making
Murderer.
a Murder. No, no, no. My Favorite Murder. They're
Oh,
like, we're intrigued by these murders because we feel like if we talk about them and learn about them, it won't happen to us. I'm
yeah.
intrigued by cults because I'm secretly, and not secretly anymore, but I'm a little bit secretly worried that one day I could get sucked into a cult
Just
and
like
like
this
just
guy seems
not even
great.
realize like these guys seem so
Like
awesome.
it's awesome. Like I've been looking for a social group. Like you'll think you're at like one of those meetups and it's actually a cult. Like I really love so my with My Favorite Murder. They have a shirt and it says "You're in a cult. Call your dad." And I really want that. I want that shirt. But everyone I met just starts getting all offended, and I'm like, "You want to have a discussion?" Exactly. Like the problem is we live in a kind of social media society where I actually posted something today. So I had asked, this is a side note, but it's an example of kind of what I think we deal with on a regular basis. I had asked, like, where can I see Twin Peaks? Because I don't know if it's going to be on Hulu. And a bunch of people had posted stuff. Some of them were pirate sites. And one guy got all pissy and was just like, oh, you need to buy all your content and start a fight. And I was like, hey, let's not fight. Like, I didn't say paid or unpaid. I just wanted like suggestions, no worries. And he continued to yell and scream, and I was like, this isn't an opinion post, this is a suggestion box. Move it the fuck along.
Wait, what? On your thing when when you tweeted about
Yeah, when I posted like a thing on Facebook, and I was just like, move it along. Like if you don't like the post, you can just
Wait, no, I'm gonna
look
go
at
look at it
other
right now.
stuff. Because he was like
I
trying to
hit
start a fight with this dude about illegal content. That is what most discourse is these days. It's just people's
yes.
opinions, not facts, not even like what you're talking about at the time. It's just someone wanting to vent about like, I'm offended. Let me yell about it.
Well, but the thing is, like, it's not even like people are like, I'm offended, let me yell about it. It's just they're like, everyone's so easily offended. And then they act all fucking offended about people. Like, oh, that's what annoys me about that when people bring out that, like, just the word snowflake, regardless of which side you're on, when you start to talk about snowflake, you're talking about someone who's easily offended, who, is. And I feel like a lot of people are resorting to the, well, you're just being a snowflake. It's like, no, I'm presenting you with evidence that's showing, oh, you're just, it's just some people have just been so quick to brush off any sort of, talk or discourse or chat by saying, you're just offended. You are
Yeah.
just mad because Hillary Clinton isn't in office. And it's like, you are the ones who are still talking about fucking Hillary Clinton. Like, no one at this point is any longer talking about Hillary Clinton. We're talking about what's happening right now. Open your eyes and look at what's going on and
Yeah.
talk to us about it, as opposed to just being like, oh, it's just these snowflakes rambling off again. It's being so dismissive of an entire half of the population's concerns,
Yeah.
legitimate concerns, I think,
And I feel like you're getting some of
as
the
a liberal
people.
snowflake.
As a liberal, so as a snowflake as well. Like, it's one of those things, like, you see people and some of them are changing their opinions, but a lot of them, you know how, like, you get people and they'll go to see a show, like, they'll buy a ticket to a show and then they'll go there and then they feel obligated to like the show because they've paid money to see it. That's how I feel sometimes about the Trump presidency. Like, there's a lot of people, like, who voted and then they went to the show and they're like, holy crapola, like, oh god, what, everything is on fire and I'm scared, and but they're still like, oh, I'm good, like, everything's fine, I paid for the show, like, I'm here.
Hmm.
Just got to get rid of those people that are fixed within their opinion. Yeah, like, I just blocked them from seeing my posts. They need to have a shotgun freezing of their view, then reform. And they're like, your logical facts are wrong because I feel this. Like, they're like, exactly, I feel things and that matters more. Like, it's one of those things. I could go on for,
Yep, I could go on for a very long time.
like, I
I
have a big
haven't
thing
been
about that.
talking about this as much since the election, so it's hard for me to uh turn it off once I get started.
I think the problem with modern political talk is that people confusing debating facts with debating conclusions. You can't really debate a fact, but you can debate the conclusions that are drawn. So, like, you can't debate the facts of global warming, but if you draw the conclusion that we shouldn't do anything about it, then fine, I can respect that as a conclusion that you've drawn from the facts. I may not agree, but at least that's your conclusion, not a fact. So it was longer than... No, that's, like, I see your point there. That's kind of
Yeah.
interesting, actually, that you're right, because, I mean, there are certain facts, and, like, there are differing facts depending on what research you've done, but you can show me a conclusion and then show me the facts you use to come to that conclusion, and that will be the basis for that. It's gotten to the point in my community to say, right, that's the thing, like, I acquiesce, like, half the time, particularly on social media. I tend to just be like, you know what, whatever, like, and that's the problem. I think that, like, we're not even having discourse anymore, we're just having,
Yeah, there's
like,
just no discussion anymore,
what,
and that
like,
worries.
I don't want to waste my time arguing for 20 minutes with someone who's not going to change their opinion, so whatever. And then I just move on, which I know is, like, is a fault of mine. Like, I should stand up more for my opinions, but I just got to the point where you get kind of worn down. And I think that's also just dealing with it constantly, where you're dealing with, like, social media and having to prove yourself and your opinions. And it's just like, oh
Yeah,
man,
and
I can't
I think,
can't do it today.
like, it is hard, and it's hard because the fact that people are so angry right now, they're so angry that people don't agree with them, that there's nobody even really discussing what's truly happening anymore, because people get so offended or they get so upset and they get so angry and they just close their minds to any discussion. And this is true of people on both sides of the political spectrum. Like, everyone is just getting so angry that, you don't agree with me, I can't talk to you anymore. And unfortunately, I think that it's becoming such a detrimental thing. And like, to bring it back to the book, the fact that people are no longer discussing the actual factual things that are happening, that are being pushed through our government, that are being signed up for, like, being signed on that people are not actually sitting down and looking at what's happening and talking about it and saying, is this what's really best for us? Is this what's really, is there a way we can work together to find this? That is how this happens. That the people who are actually making the big decisions have it is now the vast majority of people are just like, well, I just can't talk to you about this.
Yeah.
So no one's actually worrying about, hey, they are doing something that actually is detrimental to people on both sides of the political struggle. For example, the healthcare bill that's being pushed through, right?
Yeah.
Which I think there are a lot of people who are kind of fighting it. But because people were so decisive and so, hey, hi.
Hi, welcome.
Because people are so divisive and so unwilling to kind of have a discourse and have everything, we are in a position now where we just don't have any control over our own government anymore.
Yeah. And that's kind of like,
they're doing whatever they want, and they're basically like, fuck you to the rest of America. You have people who are conservative who I think are just like, you're doing such a wonderful job. This is so great. You're telling me that, we're going to save money, that we're going to do this when you actually, if you actually look at the facts and the analysis and you're like, this is not going to save anyone money. This is going to funneling more money out of our economy. People are so worried, like, well, he shouldn't make $15 an hour because I'm not making $15 an hour, regardless of the fact that you can't, if he makes $50 an hour, then now you can say, well, he's making $15 an hour.
I should make more because I'm more qualified.
You know what I mean? Like,
there's a logical step that people don't seem to take. It's like, oh, well, I don't want this person to be here. But it's like, but if they're here, then you could be there. Because, that's how society works.
Can't believe we're talking about this stuff. I know, Sam.
It's a freeing experience. Blep.
I don't know. Do you want me to call you Blep or Sam? I don't know. Whatever. I've revealed your true name.
Oh, we know.
I know that we align on a lot of this stuff.
Don't click on that. I don't know, unless they might be giants, but I wouldn't click on that.
We are talking about Handmaid's Tale, which is a dystopian future in which a small minority of white men in power felt they were losing their power over the general population, made a religious enemy, kind of like a nebulous religious enemy, and then use that to kind of
just don't post links, Redditor. But welcome.
Come in and take over basically all of the human rights of everyone in the country and put them into a caste system, and they have zero rights. Everybody in the whole thing has zero rights, even though there are heights of caste, and you can see through there, which I also thought was interesting, is that the Marthas thought they were better than the handmaids. The wives thought they were better than the Marthas, and they're also better than the handmaids. But everyone is kind of in this prison of feeling like, without really necessarily recognizing it. And I think that in some ways you could see that people are recognizing they're in a prison, but they're just like, as long as I have it better than them, I'm better off.
Yeah, exactly.
Regardless, no one is better off,
We do work interested. Hey, Mr. Kane TV, this is a robbery. Give me all your bits. I'm sorry. I can't even move the cup. I can't virtually get to the cup, and I'm sorry. You just started watching the Hulu series. It's awesome and anxiety-producing. Blup, we're actually going to watch that right after this. We're going to talk for a few more minutes, and then we're going to go watch it. Hey, Greenie, what up?
Once again, I feel like we actually stayed pretty on topic.
Actually, we did. This is the weird thing is, while we're talking about politics, I'm glad we did, because that's actually on topic. I also liked, one of the things that I disliked about the book was, the descriptions, because she would say a description and then she would repeat herself, but then what I liked about this book so much was the fact that you start reading it more, and it's like, oh, hey, that was purposeful. She even has a thing where she says, one detaches oneself, one describes, so, her long descriptions are because that's all she has to do. She's basically a prisoner. She sits in a room and she looks at the room and she describes it in great detail, because it's one of those things where
it's not even like she can sit and read I would be fucking pissed if someone was like, you
I would
can't read
die.
anymore.
Like, I would just
You're
shrivel
gonna
up.
put me in this room. You're not even gonna give me a fucking book or a writing implement. Like,
No. Like, and like all she has is like one
no
pillow that
wonder
she
they
can read.
take away all of their cutting implements.
How do you feel about the lady of the house? She contributes, helped create the system, and it turns on. Like, it's
Well,
Serena Joy is like this weird character. Like, her
see,
dynamic is good.
we have not watched the Hulu, so I don't know how. And I've heard that the Hulu kind of differs a little bit more from the book.
Yeah.
That they kind of give you a little. I feel like from what I saw, and I try not to get too many spoilers, that there was a little bit more information given to you at the beginning of the Hulu series, which makes sense because they kind of want to hook people in. But Sam, I would really recommend that you read this book if you haven't read it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Like,
I
it's.
feel like I keep interrupting you, and I'm really sorry.
No, you're not. You are not interrupting me. Why would you think that? Why would you feel that? Come back. Come back to me.
Because that's what my brain tells me, and I can't help it.
No! Fuck your brain. It's really nice.
I know,
like your
right?
brain, but fuck your brain. No, like, Mr. Kane was like, would you move it for Dorito? So I was just being a jackass. I moved the tip jar, and then I said I moved it. You weren't interrupting me. I was just being a dick. You need to read it. You do need to read it, because it's amazing.
I think you should read it.
Also, I also kind of liked the contradiction of beliefs where, like, Luke is kind of all for stuff and then he's, like, against it. And then there was this really interesting, speaking of Serena Joy, this is why I bring it up, because I had a note here that said that I felt like all the beliefs in the book are contradictory, where it really shows the fact that, like, Serena Joy was this kind of super biblical woman, and, like, she wanted all this, and then when she gets it, she doesn't want it.
I forgot about that.
You can't always get everyone, kind of thing. Also, when, I also thought it was really weird. You go ahead.
But see, and when it comes to Serena Joy, I thought that was really interesting because I felt like Serena Joy was kind of like a representation of the people that you hear the argument of, like, this is how things should be doing, and it almost seems like they're like, this is how it should be done for everybody else except for me, because she was, you know, a TV presenter arguing that women should be in the home, women should be doing all this stuff. She made her fame on kind of that conservative ideal of, you know, this is what women should be, you know, kind of like for the system that was put in place. But what is so contradictory is that she was a woman out working on the stage in front of people and doing that. So I don't know if she helped create the system, but she was just kind of on the side of the religious order that they decided to put in place, like that women should be in the home. And then, you know, sucks to be you that you said this is how it should be, and you were not someone who you didn't. It's like it can happen to everybody else but me. It's like those parents. It's like those parents who are like, we're cool with gay people, just not my child being gay, right?
Yeah.
Like,
as long as it doesn't happen to me.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the thing. Like, she's the embodiment of that kind of
going back to, like, even the Congress or whatever, like that, like, we are going to change the ACA, but we're going to put a provision in that Congress still can benefit from all of the benefits of ACA. We don't have to actually follow the,
like,
the
if
American
the bill isn't good enough for you, then it's not good enough for everybody else. But they're like, oh, well, as long as I don't have to use it, that's fine. Like, oh, hey, here's this shitty public restroom. There's crap smeared on the wall, but as long as I have my own restroom, then everybody else.
This is fine for everybody, but I'm going to use this gold gilded bathroom over here, so I hope that's cool.
Like, I hope you enjoy your shit smeared wall. And thank you, Johnny, by the way. Yeah, that one person's link was definitely a spam link. I hope you did not click it. If it's still on your thing, I timed them out, but if it is, don't click it. Happy joy, indeed. I'm sorry. Trolls be a poppin'. It happens. So okay. Well, there was a couple things. There were a few things like
Coulter, Tommy Lahren. Oh my God, Tommy Lahren. I can't even. Nope. We're gonna stop it right there. We're not gonna go into that.
We're not gonna pause. So there was a thing that I found weird. Speaking of bathrooms, at one point, Offred is talking about men's restrooms, and she talks about it being a thing about reassurance. Like basically she talks about it kind of like the urinals are basically like a dick measuring contest, and I was she like I found that those kind of statements sometimes were weird to me because I was like, it doesn't seem like it's a matter of it. It's just that's easier for men to pee. Like I thought that it was like a little too thought, like
Wait,
those
what
moments.
page is that on?
Oh my god, I didn't put the page down. But it's when she's talking to, it's one of the commander stuff. It's like right when she's about to visit the
I've
commander.
been looking for him talking about how better for people doesn't mean better
I
for everyone, and I can't fucking find
Dude, I
it.
need to like fucking put page numbers down. My notes
Yeah.
are a mess. Like, and of course, you want to know what the one thing I put the page number down for is a stupid joke. It's a Saturday, it's a September, and I said page 84. This is really awkward construction. Did she become Mario? It's a Saturday, it's a me Mario, it's a me Alfred. I was like,
It's a me, Alfred. It's a great.
and
We
I
are
was
so
like,
great.
and I was like, I don't, why? Why did I put the page number for that and not the page number for literally anything else? Oh, I love that Bob Ross email so much, a moldy lunchbox. Like, I'm so glad you use it. People don't use it as much, and it makes me sad. Oh, I loved this line too. I put it down where maybe it isn't about forgiveness. Maybe it's about who can do what to whom and get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
The rabbit thing is right after this. So as soon as we're done talking, we're gonna hop into rabbit. I'll post the link in here. I'll post the link in our discords. Tippy's hosting the rabbit. So
Yeah, I have to reload it, so
we're gonna just kind of chill out here, and then she'll get that ready.
keep talking. Does anyone have any questions or wish
Comments.
us to discuss something differently or in more detail than we already discussed? Is really my question. Because I feel like we were kind of, I don't know if we really, I think we discussed a lot of the major themes that I
Oh yeah.
enjoyed about the book.
I
But
think
I
I
don't
did
know if
too.
we,
Like
yeah.
the great world building, great
What were you
characters.
like? Yeah. What were you disappointed in the book? Because I think you started saying that, and we were
Oh, just that. Like some of the weird observations she makes. Like,
okay.
oh, this is about reassurance. And they're just bold statements. And I'm like, I don't think that's really what that's about. Like, I think it's just something innocuous. Like, oh, that's just easier. Like, and some of those things I was like, I don't know about this. But and the ending, real quick. I liked the ending. The historical notes section made the book for me even better. Like, I just loved it.
I don't know. Like I liked it, but I wish I had gotten more information. Like
Yeah.
that's really what it was. Like I didn't mind the ending, but I was disappointed because I felt like I wanted more information. I wanted to know what happened to her after she did. I wanted to know how because they talked about how like Gilead like fell. It went on for, however many years. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
and I
Like
kind of liked, but the thing is, I liked it a lot because it kind of offered as such a small person. Like she feels small. The government has made her feel small, and the historical notes kind of show like she was so nobody knows who she
she was
is.
like
Like
yeah,
nobody
like kind of like an
knows.
Anne Frank
Yeah,
almost.
like, and it really, I thought that was kind of, I was wondering if like Margaret Atwood is kind of like harkening back to that. You guys read the Sherlock? I have not. I read one Sherlock Holmes book. I want to
I
read more.
have.
She has. Discuss about your Disney singing. It's amazing. It's beautiful to listen to. Watch the Cinder one. It's up on YouTube. Have you watched the Mr. Rogers marathon? I have. It's
Yes.
quite enjoyable.
I
I love
slept
it.
to it one night because I forgot to turn it off, so I woke up to the dulcet tones of Mr. Rogers.
I would say drama, Greenie. I would tend to lean towards drama. Like, I don't know if it's fiction. There's no real genre on it, but I would say that this is definitely a drama. Like,
I would say it's kind of like an alternate history dystopian future
yeah, I will
drama.
say it's open. It's open ended, Johnny. Like it's kind of left open. There, you kind of can make conjectures about what happened, but it is. I liked the resolution. I felt like it fit the rest of the book, but I agree with Tippy that it's. I can
I
see
wish
why you
I
wouldn't be
had more.
satisfied.
Yeah.
Like
But
I was
it
satisfied,
was
but I can see.
more, it was not even more that I was dissatisfied with how Offred her ending was, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. I wasn't necessarily because I get it. Like it would have been nice for us to be like, oh, she, made it to England and lived happily ever after. I was just kind of more interested in the world itself. Like, what did England think about this? What did Canada think about this? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Like it would be nice to have more of that.
How did this how did this republic eventually fall, and what did it turn into afterwards? What happened to, all of these commanders, and was it like, did people were finally people finally like, let's band together, this is a fucking nightmare, like, come on, let's do it, because I don't know, people enjoy, okay, so I've had conversations with people about, just in general, kind of like that people will cling to any feeling of power that they feel that they have, right?
Yeah.
No matter who they are, like, no matter who you are, and it's almost like a visceral reaction. You can't help it. When you feel like your power is threatened, you're so much more likely to cling on to that. So when you give people a sense of power over anything that's happening in their life, no matter what their situation is in relation to like the vast majority of people, they'll hold on to that power. So that's why once they put in these power structures, the handmaids are below, the Marthas are below,
Yeah.
the lower level
You've got
wives
that
are
class
below, the
system.
commander's wives are below, the lowest men are below,
You've got the
the
unwomen.
guardians. Well, they're like at the low. They're like not. They're kind of like the untouchables in
That's true. They're
the
kind of
Indian
the
council.
outcasts, so they're not even in the class system. They're like outside of it.
Below the guardians, then there are the commanders, and then there's the eyes, like the invisible eyes that are
True.
above them, right? So it's hard for people to break out of that power system, because with the threat of that outcast, the unwomen, and because it's not just women who are cast out to, like, the radioactive fields. It's hard for people to kind of band together in those situations, because they're like, I already have this power. I'm already better than the handmaids. There's no reason for me to fight against all of these power levels above me. You know what I mean? Like, as long as like a Martha would probably feel like, it's like those Marthas, they never made friends with Offred. They were never like, oh, we're in this together. We're in a shitty situation together. They're like, we are better than you, and we don't want our precarious situation to become worse.
Yeah.
So there's no reason for that, because when there is that level of power and they have that power, they're so much less likely to be like, fuck this. It's like what's happening now. We're fighting over breadcrumbs while people are walking away with a whole cake. You know what I mean? But because you feel like you have that little bit of power over, someone else's, there's always someone worse off than you. You're
Exactly.
like, well, as long as I'm, better than them, like, there's no reason for them to, fight that. If that, I don't know if
No,
that
that
makes
makes sense.
sense.
Like Blup was actually saying too that like they're good at keeping us from trusting one another, and that kind of plays into what you're saying. Like you're basically setting the lower classes to fight one another, kind of like Chaos said. Like you've got that lower thing. They also have that wall, like that intimidation
Mm-hmm.
tactic, where essentially you have people who are just strung up on this wall to show you what could happen
Mm-hmm.
if
And
you
who
are
knows if they
bad
really were Jewish, or,
or
Jesuit, or,
committed like conducted
yeah, if they
abortions.
really,
Like
they have to, there's only so many people that they can, um, you know, kill. You know what I mean? They
exactly.
can't all hold out forever, so that that they're just kind of like, they're looking for anything at that point.
Yeah, and then
Um,
you're set it like, and then the hand. Well, I don't know. That's kind of a spoilery thing. I don't want to spoil it.
what?
I was
What?
thinking about the fight that's near the end.
No, just we warned about spoilers when we
Okay,
first
well, like
started.
blah blah blah. If you don't want
Oh,
to hear this,
yeah,
but
if you don't want to hear it, don't
I would just
listen.
blah 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 for the next like second. But it's one of those things where there's a fight at the end where basically the handmaids are given a man to basically rip apart because he's supposedly done something bad, and it's kind of one of those things where like they're so like, oh, that's the only power we have. They're so power hungry at that.
Mhm.
Okay, Mr. King, make a slap. I don't know why, but there you go. Did you find the piecing together to be cool? Of the story? Yeah, definitely. I found it to be really good. I found it to be really great. At the same time, there's only so many people in it. True. And those are really the people that are in the positions of power.
The people who aren't afraid, well, that's not necessarily true, because they can root out those people too. They can, that guy who was beat up at the end,
Yeah.
he was actually a rebel. It's easier when people are afraid. It's much easier to get them to turn on
Do your
people that they
bidding
would
and
otherwise
turn on people,
trust.
yeah.
Yeah. If you believe that people who are rebelling are a danger not only to themselves but to you, then you're much more likely to be like, well, I heard so and so talking about, not liking what's going on here.
Yeah, and like she's so
You know,
terrified, like who's in the rebellion,
hmm
who isn't.
when you
Like
can't trust anybody, how are you going to? It's just such a good, like, as disgusting as is the power structure in A Handmaid's Tale, it is such a good, well-researched power
it
structure.
is. It
You
feels
know, it's
so well. I don't know. It's just so well written. It's so impactful.
because it's how all dictators and all power systems that have come into place, it's how they all work. It's
Yeah,
how it worked in Nazi Germany. Everyone was a member of this group. You didn't know who believed it or not, but there was always the chance that they were going to go to this, secret service or whatever and say, so and so is being a dissenter. They need to be taken care of. So
exactly.
you don't know who you can trust and you don't know who you can talk to. So when you can't know who you can talk to safely, then you're just so much less likely to talk to somebody. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
And
Like,
like you have stuff with Nazi Germany and stuff where you had children who were working for the Nazi party who just thought that was normal. That was not
yeah.
a thing. And then
Mhm.
later on they look back and are just like, "Oh, well, that was a thing." Like
Yeah. Did they say how
that
long it was?
what? The TV show?
No, no, no.
For the money,
Um,
money, money. Money, 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 money. Money. Greenie, like just let friendship happen. Let friendship come to you. Don't tell people to be your friend.
yeah. If they
People
want to
want
be
to
your
be
friend,
your
they'll be your
friend. They'll
friend.
be your friend. Love you. But anyway, read the book. Read a motherfucking book. That should be our can that be our new like outro? Is that
Read the
too like
motherfucking book
read a
if you haven't
motherfucking
already.
book?
Just any book, really. Like that's it. Read any book.
Oh, I'll see
Open your
friendship happen.
mind open your mind to the
Hey
potentials
Satook,
that
hey
the
Rim.
world of book reading can offer you.
Yeah, like books are
To,
great.
to
Um,
great way to look at new perspectives. Read a book of something you might never have read before and see if you can learn something new about it. What's that one? Oh, The
it's the
Girls.
girls. It's real
Is
good. I
that
like it.
about what's his name?
No,
No.
I'm gonna just tell you right off the bat. No, it's about Evie Boyd. She's like a 14-year-old
Helter
old
Skelter Beth?
girl who
Okay.
joins a cult in the 60s, and then it's her recounting what happened in that cult as an adult. It's
Is it a
fiction.
memoir?
It's
Oh,
not.
it's
It's
fiction.
it's
Okay.
fiction. It's this a first novel by Emma Cline. It's really good. So either read a boom or write a book. Gotcha. Oh, it's a book, a book. Exactly. Think about me. It's difficult to find any friends. So, dude, Grim, I'm so happy that we found you. Next month, unless is there anything else we're talking about with this? I saw you sent me the rabbit. So,
I did.
okay.
I
Next
think I'm
month.
gonna have to let people in, but I don't know. I think it's a direct
Okay.
link. So
I'll post it and we'll just see.
trolls will be banned. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, like if you troll, we will cut you.
I think are we gonna watch just one episode? Do you think? It's they're like 45 minutes long.
Probably we could do one and then see how we feel if you want. Like if we're super into it, we could. If
Hmm.
not, we could just maybe do. If we like it a lot, we could maybe do another one another night. So next month we're gonna be reading A Clockwork Orange. It's by Anthony Burgess. It
Yeah,
was made into a
I'm
movie by
interested.
Stanley Kubrick. So
Maybe we'll do a rabbit of the movie after the
oh,
book
we
club.
could. It's been a while
That's
since
fun.
I saw it, and I did not like the movie originally, so I'm kind of curious. When I started
I've
reading I
never
Noticed
seen
My
the
Dreams.
movie or read the book.
Okay, yeah, we should probably do a rabbit of the movie, then we're done. When I started
Yeah.
reading I Noticed My Dreams were much more cool and vivid. I'd say that's reason enough to pick up a book. Oh my god. They don't touch a thing. Okay, and now, without further ado, I'm going to
Oh,
post
should
the
we?
rabbit
When are we
link.
doing next month's book club? Let me.
I'm good whenever, honestly, since it's just the
Do you
two
want
of
to
us.
do it on the 30th, like the final day of the month?
Do you,
Just leave it at that.
uh,
It's a Friday.
I'm good with that. If we end up finishing it and you want to do it earlier, like we did this one, we can do that too.
All right, let's put it in for the 30th.
Yeah, let's put it in for the
Stay
30th.
tuned, everybody, for the actual book club
It's probably
thing.
going to
But
be
I'm
June
gonna put it.
30th, but
I'm gonna put it in my calendar so that I know that I need to that I need to block off the time for it. So
But yeah, and go read Handmaid's Tale until then, and then read Clockwork Orange and come and discuss it with us, and it'll be
yes,
great. And we'll
listen,
watch the
guys.
movie after.
If you read Handmaid's Tale after this book club and want to discuss it, go to the book club section of Jess's Discord. I
Yeah,
would
ask for the
love to
Discord
continue
link.
discussing this book. There's so much, there's stuff that we didn't even cover
Yeah.
in here that I, would like to talk about. So,
Yeah, like, and I would be down. Like, you could ask me for the Discord link. I'll shoot it to you, and we can talk about it in the book club. It'll be great. And we can even hop into chat. Fuck it. There's voice chat. I'd get in there and talk to you about it. For me, I got bored of normal books, so they're either extremes or not deep at all. Dude, we should talk about some books. Like, I might have some suggestions for
yeah.
you.
Yeah,
I
we
keep a
we
picture from that
we
movie
are
on my
in the
desk.
similar
Oh,
boat book. No,
book,
book boat.
book,
I'm
book.
having a lot of trouble talking tonight. I don't know
I
what it
have
is. Things are
trouble
just
talking
going
every
coming
night.
out. Things are just coming out backwards, and I don't know what to do about it.
It's fine. It's like, what is that character from Superman? Like Mexaplotowitz or something? He speaks backwards. I don't know. Think of that. Think of that.
I don't do superheroes. I'm sorry.
Okay, it's fine. It's fine. Okay, do you want me to post this? Is this
Yeah,
happening?
post it
Okay.
up. I think we're not going to be in voice chat. We're just going to do text chat
Yeah, we're
during
probably
this.
just gonna do text chat.
Also, don't ask me to turn the closed captioning off because I watch everything with closed captioning, and you're just going to have to as well.
Yes. So come watch Handmaid's Tale with us. Come in, and thank you for all being at book club. And if you don't want to watch it, then I hope you have a great night and an awesome tomorrow. And I'll see you soon.
And read a fucking book.
Read a motherfucking book. All right. See you there. Bye.